Can you imagine your life where money is your friend, working with you to achieve all your dreams and desires? If you struggle seeing money as your friend, then join Kathy Cook Noble, financial advisor and educator on understanding how your money can work for you. It is possible. Now, here is Financially Speaking with Kathy Cook Noble.
Good afternoon and welcome to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Kathy Cook Noble, and we get together every Monday afternoon at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we talk about financial topics. And they're not the financial topics a lot of people are worried about in terms of whether they'd understand it. They're more the topics that we talk about to each other every day. So what we do here is we take a regular conversational type of finance and we break it down into plain language so that we can all understand it. Because I have always said, even long before I got into the financial game, people can absolutely have the ability and do have the ability to understand their stuff. And that's really all you need, is to understand what your stuff is. Because once you start to understand how your money works and where your money is, then you're able to help your family and to educate your kids and talk to them about money and grandchildren and even neighbors and other family members that might need some help. So your goal is to always understand your own stuff. As exciting as I say it is to see how many houses and yachts and boats and people of lifestyles of the rich and famous, for those of you who are over a certain age, you'll know Robin Leach in that show. But for those of you who are watching all those shows on TV and keeping up with some kind of family or some kind of housewives show, although it may be interesting, the reality is we do not need to know how many boats and houses to count and how to plan for that. What we need to know is what works for us and what works for our family. And I've also always said that money is not just an isolated topic. Money intertwines between everything in your life. So when we have money issues, we have emotional issues, we could have health issues, we could have relationship issues. Money manifests itself in many ways. And I think it's something, and every so often I try and bring in an expert because that's not my area of expertise. And we talk about things that money is related to and how it can affect you. And one of the experts that I've had the pleasure of working with before, and I've got on tonight, is Christine Noble. And yes, we are related. It's not a coincidence. We have the same last name. So I'm lucky because I was able to talk Christine into coming on the show and share a lot of wisdom with us. She has a lot of wealth of information when it comes to controlling your stress and living a happy, healthy life and lifestyle, and being able to really put things in perspective of what matters and how it matters and what kind of emphasis we should be putting on it. Because as we all know, we worry about different things in different ways at different times. And sometimes those worries don't actually come to fruition, and it's never as bad as what we thought it was. So I'm going to welcome our guest tonight, because we have Christine with us for the whole show, and we're able to pick her brain and help us to prepare not just for a stress-free holiday, because we are coming into the holidays and we are going to talk about that, because that is a very stressful time for a lot of people for a lot of reasons. And Christine's going to help us navigate through some tricks and some techniques that we will be able to translate into all parts of our life. So Christine, it's so good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to hang out with you, Kathy.
I know, I'm excited, whether it's here or in person or whichever province you're in, we get to chat sometimes. So yes. It's nice. So tonight we're going to talk to you specifically about stress, because you know about stress and you developed great ways of learning to deal with stress and handle stress. And you share that with your practice during your practice every day. So maybe we'll just start with, I make the assumption I know more about you than most people do. So maybe I'll give you a chance to introduce yourself to everyone that's out there listening and watching.
So I have St. Thomas Hypnotherapy and more, and I'm a certified master hypnotist, and I'm a meditation instructor. And I I do a lot of things, and it seems complicated, but I've learned just to keep them simple, whether I'm seeing clients or whether I'm leading a meditation group. I'm also a children's author and I do story time. You want to talk about hectic sometimes, but I just keep things simple. And so I always say I want a bliss life, and bliss stands for me. A better life is super simple. That's even my TikTok name. Better life is super simple. Bliss out. And sometimes it can just be so simple. It's just being honest with yourself, honest with the people that you're associating with, honest with people that you're working with, honest with your employer, honest with relatives over holiday season. Just being really honest. And it's not easy. It's not easy. There's so many times where we do things because it's tradition or because we're making other people happy. But if we're really honest with ourselves, what do we really want to do? And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's times where you're going to make other people happy. But I always say, if you're going to do it anyway, do it with a smile. So don't complain about or whinge about all of the details going into something. If you said yes, you're going to go. But if you're saying no and you've set a boundary, that's okay. Be okay with that. So I don't know about you, Kathy, but especially when I was younger, if I set a boundary or if I spoke up, I was always worried about what other people were going to think about me or if they were making fun of me. Just because we're at Christmas, I'll give you an example. My husband's side has a lot of kids, and they would always buy gifts for everyone, not even an exchange, like a draw, everyone. And it was, at the time, it was a little bit about money, but it was a lot about time and a lot about I didn't grow up with a family of gifts. So it was really stressful for me to go out and buy all of these little gifts. And I know that the kids were getting so many that it was just another one. They don't know that, my aunt bought me this. So I just said, I'm not participating. And then I was, bullied a little bit. And I don't mean it in a bad way, because that's their tradition and it works for them. And I don't mean to disrespect that, but it totally didn't work for me. And just to be honest, saying this doesn't work for me. And they said, well, it's a token of remembrance. And I'm like, no, it really doesn't work for me. So we agreed that we would draw names. So that took a little bit of the pressure off. But in my family, I didn't grow up, we're not big on gifts. And so I'm okay with just baking cookies, and I put money into the kids' account. Like, I'm a grandmother and I do not buy my grandkids birthday gifts. And I just put money into the RESP. And when they show up, it's like, what did you bring? I brought you my love. Same thing I got you last year. And at times I may do something really small, like a bath bomb or a pack of M&Ms or something in a little package. But it's because we've set it up that it's not about the gifts. And you can say, well, if you've already set that up, it's easy for you. But what if you just start changing it slowly? It's like, we're not going to do this. And if you love buying gifts and that's your whole thing, then that is. But if it's something that brings you stress, be honest about it. There's so many things just to be honest about. And yeah, people might judge you or, make fun of you, whatever, but it's okay. Be true to yourself, stress goes away.
Absolutely. And people who don't know, when you said just make cookies, your cookies are spectacular. And Christine, she puts a lot of love into her baking. Like, Christine's an amazing cook, an amazing baker, but these cookies are a process, and they're not something that takes 5 minutes to do. So when you get Christine's cookies, that means she really likes you. So that is a huge, huge gift on its own. And so I'm excited because I'm, hoping you'll make them this year. But
Yes, next weekend
the best cookies, honestly, the best cookies you'll ever eat. They're so good. That's the only food I hide in my house. At my house, I don't hide anything. I don't save anything. Eat it now. now is if it's something, I'm not one of these people that says, oh, we're saving it for something special. If it feels good now, it's a special time. But I will confess, I hide your cookies and I don't always tell them for a week until I've had my share.
Yes, that happens often with those cookies. Only once a year, one day and done. So however many I make, that's done. But I make that day fun. Like we play music, we make them, and it's really busy and chaotic, but we sing or we're goofy. And my nephews are now joining me, who are 20 and 22, so they can carry on the tradition. And
Nice.
so it's one day, and there's no stress because it's a fun day and I'm done. And yes, so for me, that's one of the things that I do. But people have gotten used to it over the years. Like no one ever makes comments to me now about not buying gifts. And so I'm just going to bring you my love. That's it for the day and spend time with you. Another thing is for introverts, because I'm one of them, is just to be really honest. And I've come up with this term, and if anybody else wants to use it, I'm fine with that, is I pumpkin out. And it's like, in the story of Cinderella, the pumpkin got wheels and it was able to leave the garden. But it had to be back because those wheels are going to come off and it's going to turn back into a pumpkin. So although I can do things, I can go out, I feel like I'm starting to go back to that pumpkin. So I've just been really honest with people and say, like, please don't be upset if I don't say anything. Because the minute I say goodbye, they're, oh, please don't say, or come talk to this person, or just taste this. I'm pumpkining. The pumpkin needs to go back to the garden. So I'm just really honest, and I kind of make it a joke. It's like, I'm pumpkining out, I'll call you tomorrow. Or I'll leave without saying anything, and then I'll just send a text message, pumpkined out at 11, I'm home, hope to see you next week. So just being honest, like what's wrong with being honest about being who we really are, right? And so that's one thing I find with holidays. Another thing with holidays is that we create scenarios in our mind that don't exist. So they haven't happened yet. So I'm just going to use the term Aunt Bunny. So if Aunt Bunny drives you crazy, in your mind, you could already be there going, oh, she's going to mention that time that I let her rabbits go. And she's going to talk about that like she does every year. It drives me crazy. I didn't know they would run away and they wouldn't come back. I was a kid. And you're already feeling anxious about it. Whereas you can just override Aunt Bunny. There's going to be other people there that you really like to spend time with. There's going to be great experiences and food. So you can just don't in your head play that ahead how it's going to be. And then you feel stress about that. So we always say that the body believes what the mind conceives, right? So your mind's getting wound up about things that haven't even happened and might not even happen. But what if you go with the intention of visualizing, using that energy instead to visualize something great, like it's going to be a wonderful time and I can't wait to see Uncle Joe and Aunt Martha, and it's going to be great. And you start feeling that happiness in your body. And so think about what you want to happen and not what you don't want to happen. And yeah.
That sounds like very easy advice. And I know from working with people and you working with people, it's not always so easy to do for them, is it?
No, but it's something to even just to start think about. One of my
Yeah.
sayings is practice makes progress.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just practice a little bit, or you're going to have fun. There was somebody that used to come to a family event, and she clearly didn't want to be there, and she wouldn't talk to anyone, and she would just sit there. And so I just made it like a little thing with myself. I would ask her open-ended questions so that she would have to answer me with more than yes or no. And it turned into a little game for me, but she became engaged and I learned more about her. And so, not that she was my project or anything, but it made everything more comfortable and I felt like I was accomplishing something.
That's so good. And I think it helps for people because you never know why they sit and don't say anything, right? Maybe they're shy or they're afraid to get started. And I think it's awesome because you're very, very good at being able to do something like that in a comfortable way, which is kind of nice. We are up to our first break of the night, believe it or not. So we'll take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to Christine more about different opportunities that you can see to help with your stress for the holidays, and even in turn, like Christine, the example she just gave, help other people with their stress that they might be experiencing too, and they might not even know it. So don't go anywhere. We have Christine Noble all night, and you are listening to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network, and we'll be right back.
So we're on break now?
Too many of us get caught up in the unreal lives of reality television and complete to acquire stuff, which is setting us up to accumulate lots of debt. We're scared, confused, and don't know who to talk to. By tuning into Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble, you'll learn tips you can use to improve your financial health, which in turn can improve your overall health and make for a very happy life. Live a life you can afford and enjoy. It is possible. Listen for Financially Speaking radio show every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email become a host at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. This is the Financially Speaking Show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Kathy@bookkeepplus.ca. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network. I am your host, Kathy Cook Noble, and I have a special guest tonight, Christine Noble, and we're talking about stress and how to help through the holidays, specifically as they're coming up, but in general, because we have stress throughout the rest of the year. And I also want to remind everybody that there is always exciting things happening here at the Inspired Choices Network. And one of those exciting things is our mobile app. So for those of you who haven't heard, we do have a mobile app, and you can download it for your Apple or Android, and you can listen live. You can follow us on many of our podcast platforms, but on the app, it's pretty freaking cool. Am I allowed to say that on the air? Because it's free. And in my world, it is one of the favorite words when it comes to investments and when it comes to tax planning is free. So this, our new app is free for you to download. And you can join us in the chat room live. You can listen to the replays. You can check in any of the shows because all of them are on here, not just mine. So if you need a little bit of support in your life on finances, then that's something where I try and step in. If it's something where you need support on business or relationships, there's other hosts out there that do that. You can always tune in and get the help that you need or some questions answered when you are in need of those. So that's exciting, and I wanted to share that with you. So please go out and download your app, absolutely free, and let us know how you feel about it. Share with us, because you can always leave comments on any of our, it's like over 250 platforms now that we go podcast with. So it's pretty exciting. And we're always excited to hear from people. And frankly, I get all my show ideas from individuals who send them to me. And they say, what about this? What is that? And I do a show on it, because if they have the question, somebody else does too. And I know that's one of the big reasons I have Christine, because I have lots of questions with people about stress and mental health. And that's not my area of expertise. And that's more of Christine's area of expertise for sure. And we were just talking about helping yourself with stress by being honest. And I said, it sounds really easy, but it's really hard for people sometimes to be honest. And I will share with you one of the things Christine helped me with years ago, actually. I used to get asked to be on boards, charity boards, and different various kinds of boards of directors. And I always felt obligated to say yes, because I thought, wow, isn't that nice that they're asking? They must need my help. And it's not that I didn't enjoy the charity, and it's not that I didn't support them, and it's not that I didn't enjoy the work. I did. But at one point I was on over 5 boards and I had every night that I had a meeting. And of those 5 boards, I had 2 or 3 committees that I was on. And it became overwhelming. And you end up having no time at all between working full time and then doing your charity work. And I remember Christine, I asked her about it, and she gave me very good advice on actually doing them and myself a favor by saying, no, thank you. That's not, it's not my time for that. So it got to be a lot easier for me, and I appreciate you thinking of me, but that's not something that is in my schedule right now. And I felt better about it, and I know they got better service, if you will, because they got somebody that had more time to commit to it. So it's saying no is not easy, but as you do it more and you're honest with yourself, I found it got easier. And I was so much happier when I wasn't running ragged, running around every night trying to rush from here to go to there, and maybe do 2 meetings in one night. So Christine helped me with that. And that was a huge stressor for me. So there's lots of these simple techniques, but we don't always take them until somebody lays it out and says, it's time for you to say no, or for you to be honest with yourself and be honest with other people. So that was my little story of share that you helped me with.
Yeah, sometimes people don't know how to say no.
Yeah.
And the way that I've learned to say no is, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
So if someone says, can you bake pies for the charity event at the market? I would say, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. Well, what are you doing? Are you busy? You usually do it. No, I'm sorry, that doesn't work for me. Thanks for thinking of me. And by the 3rd time, when I'm not giving an explanation, because I could just want a day off. I could just want to go for a walk that day, or, maybe I have nothing planned and I just want to do that. Maybe it's going to be a movie day. I don't owe anyone an explanation of why I'm not going or why I'm not helping. I can just say that doesn't work for me. And you don't have to be rude about it. You don't have to bring up, well, I'm not going because, Aunt Buddy's going to be there. You just, you can just say it doesn't work for me. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And that works well. That worked well. I have tried that from when first you shared that with me. That worked really well, which is helpful for sure.
It is, and it does take a load off when they finally get it, and if you're not serving with, from a happy place, they're not getting that happy space, so
Yeah.
leave that vacancy open for someone else who's going to serve with more goodwill than you might have. Because if you have it builds up resentment, doesn't it?
It does. And then you're angry going to the meeting, and you regret having joined, and then you're grumpy about it. And I found that I was actually, I'll tell you, I was at one meeting in particular, and I remember, and I was angry the whole time I was there. And I'm not one to really be angry, and I couldn't figure out why I was so grumpy. And then I was like, it's because I don't want to be here. And as soon as I said that, I was like, I'm done. So I approached the chair and I said, I really appreciate the opportunity, but I'm going to have to be resigning. And that was the end of it.
From sitting on a couple of boards, I now have an unbucket list. And my unbucket list is things that I've done that I never want to do again. And I have to remember my unbucket list because sometimes I'll forget. And, my ego might become engaged. It's like, oh, you want What, me? And it's like, yeah, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It's on my bucket list. I've done that before.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And I really appreciate it because when you do take stuff on, you enjoy it that much more because you haven't been burnt out on all the stuff that you've done that you didn't really want to do, but didn't know how to say no. So that was really good. That was a good lesson for me for sure. And I'm glad I learned it years ago because I probably would have been really burnt out by now if I had.
And we were like, talking about like board of directors, but I've had clients come in who their life is so chaotic because they haven't learned to say no. I mean, I had one guy come in and he just started always shoveling his laneway, of course, but he'd shovel the neighbors. And he's really busy. He doesn't have time. His body, is getting a bit older. And he just couldn't tell her no. Of course, they have enough money to afford to have it pushed out. She has children that could come over, adult children who could come over and do it. But because he took it on, he felt like it was, his responsibility. But no, it's not your responsibility. And just helping him see that, like asking the right questions. So we just practiced in his own mind, like, what would it look like if you went over there and knocked on the door and just said, it's like practice makes progress, right? So just visualize doing it and then just saying, this isn't working for me anymore. That's simple, not no, or you don't have to give reasons. It's just, no, this isn't working for me anymore. So you'll need to make sure that's covered. So,
Yeah.
And then once you do one thing, it opens the door to do a lot more.
Absolutely. And do you find that the shorter the explanation, the better it is for people to handle from a stress point of view and from an anxiety point of view as well?
Sometimes other people might become angry that you're not giving them the explanation that they feel that they are owed.
Yeah.
But just standing firm and saying, it just doesn't work for me, and that's it. It just doesn't work for me. And it's being steady and firm in those statements. And eventually it might take a while because practice makes progress. It just becomes easier and easier. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
But you don't want to start telling lies not to hurt people's feelings. And you might not want to do something because of a reason that might hurt someone's feelings if they know it. And you don't want to, I never want to go there. It doesn't work for me. It's just enough for me. And then I've got my boundaries. I feel good about it. And it's okay. I recently had somebody ask me, why don't you go somewhere anymore? And I said, do you want the truth? And they said, yes. And I said, well, when I go there, I feel like I'm not welcome, and so I want to go where somebody like opens the door and says, hey, come on in. Come on, just have a seat. Like, I want that welcoming. You don't want to go in there and somebody's looking at you like, oh, she's here, And it was just, it's like, that's not a place I want to go. And it's going to be better for everyone if I don't, right?
Absolutely. And I think it's people valuing their time better too,
Mhm.
because, and I know you're very good at being very aware of people and their time and all those things that go with it. But a lot of people aren't. And that was part of the problem I had was I didn't value my time. And you think that you have to give your time to everybody else. And if you're not doing something, you just wanted to sit home and read a book, that somehow you weren't being a good person. And I've learned, and it took a long time, but that actually you're being a better person because you're helping yourself. And you can't be good to other people if you're not good to yourself. And that's one of the things I know you help people with and you're very good at.
Yeah, filling your cup, making sure that your needs are met. I recently heard something and I loved it. So when you say, I make sure that my son has a healthy lunch, say, and me too. I make sure that people feel welcomed, and me too.
Yeah.
And me too. What a difference. I make sure that I create a good workplace for my employees, and me too. and me too. So whatever we'd want to create for someone else, me too. Make sure that you're filling your cup. And again, I just find the simpler I make things, the easier it is. Even with planning meals when you're entertaining. Now, I like entertaining, I do. But sometimes you can just you do a main course and then you do like 6 sides and all of this. Well, really, I've been to homes where we've had a main course, 2 sides, and a simple dessert. And it was still a wonderful time, and it wasn't that much stress because the host and hostess had everything ready. And so we went for a walk and it's like everything felt so relaxed. And they had a very simple meal and a simple dessert. And I just thought, wow, being somebody who used to own a restaurant, I don't have to show off my culinary skills all the time. I can just keep it simple and everyone's happier because I'm not running around either. It's just
Exactly.
easy. Having 6 different types of vegetables does not increase the meal. And I have my son says to me, let's focus more on the company than the food, Mom. And I'm like, yeah, it's keeping it simple.
That's awesome. We are up to our second break already. So we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are going to talk to Christine more. And we're going to talk to her about what she does in her clinic, I guess. We'll call it a clinic. And we'll talk to her more about that when we come back. So don't go anywhere. You are listening to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network, and we will be right back.
Too many of us get caught up in the unreal lives of reality television and complete to acquire stuff, which is setting us up to accumulate lots of debt. We're scared, confused, and don't know who to talk to. By tuning into Financially Speaking radio show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble, you'll learn tips you can use to improve your financial health, which in turn can improve your overall health and make for a very happy life. Live a life you can afford and enjoy. It is possible. Listen for Financially Speaking radio show every Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. Money is complicated, right? Actually, no, it's not. You don't have to be a trader on Wall Street to get a handle on your money. TV shows often instill fear to keep you believing you can't understand it or do anything yourself. If dealing with your finances brings up a lot of other F words, then you need to read All Ladies Should Use the F Word, A Guide to Loving Your Finances by Kathy Cook Noble. Kathy helps you take control of your finances and leave the other F word, fear, in the dust.
How wonderful would it be to carry your favorite Inspired Choices Network host with you throughout your day? Well, now you can. Inspired Choices Network now has its very own mobile app. Our free app offers live streaming shows, along with thousands of podcasts and TV episodes. Our shows cover a wide variety of topics. Whether you're waking up with us, carrying us through the day, and taking us to bed with you, we're always here for you to enjoy. We're easy to find. Just search for Inspired Choices Network in the Apple App Store or Google Play Store.
This is the Financially Speaking Show with financial advisor and educator Kathy Cook Noble. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Kathy@bookkeepplus.ca. Now back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. You are listening to Financially Speaking on the Inspired Choices Network, and I am your host, Kathy Cook Noble, and my very special guest tonight is Christine Noble, and we're talking about how to be less stressed and more happy, and I think really just more true to yourself on what you like and how you're happy in your life. I say all the time about people keeping up with their neighbors or their cousins or whatever, and in a financial way. But the reality is we do it a lot. And I don't think social media has been a big helper in the fact that people posting things that other people are seeing and thinking that they've got it all figured out and they're living this, spectacular kind of life that you would like too. So you're always in that. I think from people I've talked to on a financial basis that they're in this perpetual contest with somebody that you're really not in a contest with at all. You're doing it to yourself. So some of the techniques that people are in need of learning, which of course doesn't come from me because I do the financial stuff, is to really just be true to yourself and understand what it is that you like. And Christine, in your practice, you spend a lot of time with people talking about really who they are and what they want in their life. And maybe just share a little bit with us on how your practice works and maybe how to get a hold of you and where it is so that people listening or watching are able to get in touch with you if they need some support or in that regard.
Yeah. So I, as a hypnotherapist, I help people get to from where they are to where they want to be. It's not counseling, so it's people take their goals and their ideas and we create them into a plan together. And then we use hypnosis to move forward with that. And I absolutely love that. I also do a treatment called Sacred Bliss Massage. It's very relaxing. It's a little bit of energy work and meditation, vibrational work and Swedish massage and deep tissue aromatherapy, silent in a room. I love doing that as well. Something else that I do, and I do this online, you can find my Facebook page, is it's called Amplified Mindfulness Practice. And it's a 3-part 1-hour meditation session where there's movement, a progressive relaxation, and also using the voice. And when I do it online, it's less. And right now I'm doing it for free for the rest of the year. So people who want to join in through Zoom. But I do it in groups as well. Right now, small groups as allowed. I always follow the guidelines. But yeah, that's what I do. So you can find me Feel Good Institute on Facebook or the AMP group, Amplified Mindfulness Practice. I call it AMP, amp it up. Amp up our relaxation and our stress release. It's absolutely like, I have so much passion for that. And I feel pretty good about it. So that's the seed that's growing. And the other part of what I do is the hypnosis and the massage. Now, I live my life a little bit differently. I'm here sometimes, and I also have a home in Alberta. So when I'm gone, I just keep booking clients for when I'm here. So I'll be gone for a month, but people said better life is super simple. How it's not very simple living in two different places. It's like, no, I do really make it simple. So I remember back when I had also a restaurant and I was doing this, and people said, you can't do this. It's like, I am doing it. And I'm keeping it pretty simple. So yeah, I just welcome people to just relax and be authentic and true to who it is they really are. And also just to know that in the moment, there's absolutely nothing wrong with who anyone is. If you create a boundary with someone, it doesn't mean that somebody else is bad. It means you just need to take care of yourself. And yeah, so I guess empower people that they can use their voice and speak up and create a life that works for them.
Absolutely. For anyone out there that is thinking, is this for me? Am I really not really sure what kind of help I need or what kind of assistance I need? Reach out to Christine, and we've shared her Facebook in the chat room, so you're able to contact her, and she will be able to guide you in a way that will help you progress and get you to where you want to be. It's not just about, I mean, we're talking about the holidays because they're coming up, but we have stuff all year long that causes stress. There are certain days of the year that are more stressful for other people. There are certain times of the year that are more stressful. There are certain certain things that get triggered that make things more stressful or cause you some kind of anxiety or discomfort. And these are all the things that you want to talk to Christine to get some support with, because this is the one thing I do know. The sooner the better. And the sooner you get, even just to say, thank you, but that doesn't work for me right now. To learn that is going to save you so much more stress and worry. I know from my experience that you worry about stuff way more when you know it's coming up. So when it's coming upon you, you have to call someone back to tell them that you're not going to do something, and how are you going to tell them? And you think more about it than the conversation even took, the length of time. So it's important. It's important for people to get that kind of help. And I just think it's important at this time of the year to have Christine on, just to remind people that, the holidays are sometimes not all that jolly for people. And there are some techniques and some support that you can get out there. So I just I wanted to share Christine with everyone so that they could see that there's somebody out there who is very, very capable and warm and caring and walks the talk. So that's what I really want to make sure people understand. So please reach out to Christine, send her a message in Facebook, and she gets back to you. She's very good at replying to people and getting back to them. So please reach out to her, or book in a time, because you can do it virtually through the way that we do stuff nowadays with Zoom and so forth. The massage part will be a little bit harder, but but a lot of the other parts of the program. And what kind of, are you having programs now, Christine? I know you have the one that you're doing for the Amplify until the end of the year, but you have other programs during the year too that you offer.
Yes, I do. I'm putting some things together. I'm going to do some. So one of the things I do is I do a Zoom session with someone, and we do a hypnosis session, a mini one, but then I help them write their own guided meditation. So I teach them the skills. So we'll do an intake, and then I'll help them with the wording, and they can record it on their own phone. So that's a gift that keeps giving. And I feel really good about that. I've been doing a lot of that lately, especially when I'm west, but even when I'm here, some people are still not comfortable leaving their house, or they're just really busy. So yeah, that's one of the things. And I'll be doing some group hypnosis sessions coming up in the future, just as whatever I'm allowed, maybe just 2 or 3 people. And it's a lot less of a financial stress. And there's that camaraderie of working through the same thing with the same people over and over again. So yeah. I did have one other little thing I'd like to share about the holiday season that's recently come to me. Would you like to hear that?
I would, for sure. Absolutely.
Okay. So everyone has traditions, and they feel that they have to maintain those traditions, whether they're your own family or the in-laws. And I guess it takes a while to realize that you can create your own traditions and your own holidays. Like, if you go really low key over Christmas, and maybe you don't go where some people might feel left out, create something else. Like, what if Valentine's Day is your big thing? The first Sunday close to Valentine's Day, and it's just the day that you show love and appreciation, and you have people over then, or you go somewhere. Or what if it's March? Just pick a day, pick a weekend, and that can be your celebration. So you're not in conflict with other people's celebrations. There's no pressure. There's no materialistic pressure from what's expected. And if you create it, then you start the tradition. Maybe, you're always going to make Nantucket pie on close on Valentine's Day. And that can be your tradition. And it's really empowering to think that you can create something special for you and your partner, or kids, or maybe it's just with the neighbors, whoever it is that your social circle is. If you're not participating because it's just too stressful. You have the ability to create something that does work for you and invite other people to join you. So I just thought that was really empowering. Just even think about the possibilities there.
That's awesome. And I think it's important for people to have permission, give themselves permission to try something different and do those things. And there's nothing wrong with it. Like there's, we have a lot of fun at our house, and we have different traditions that we do that we think are kind of fun. And the Easter bunny comes to our house at Easter, and the youngest is 20 years old. So
Good. That's awesome.
And somehow I think it's more fun for the Easter bunny.
Yeah, but yeah, you're always free to start to create something that works for yourself. And I hear a lot of stress of trying to keep up with old traditions.
Yeah.
And this is the way it's always been done. And or going somewhere and it's like, that's not how we do it. That can be so judgmental. And, just like, well, let's create a new tradition, and that can be it. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Which leads me to what's new in coming, I know with the courses, but for you, what's new in coming up in the next chapter for you, as far as your practice and any other books that you've got coming out and anything like that?
Well, my new website is the Feel Good Institute, and it sort of encompasses everything that I already do, but it brings it all together so I don't have because I want to bliss out. I want to keep it simple. So it's just everything is coming together. And so with the AMP sessions, with the Amplified Mindfulness Practice, I will in the new year also be able to certify people who want to become, I don't call ourselves teachers or gurus or mentors, we're experiential facilitators. So I will be able to certify people to become an experiential facilitator in the Amplified Mindfulness Practice. And I'm pretty excited about that. So under the feelgoodinstitute.ca. So that will be launched pretty soon. But and that's been an absolute joy to produce because I have such passion for it. And I'm not sure how much of the others that I'll be doing, but moving forward, Feel Good Institute will be me. And that's why I've started to rebrand myself. And just like creating new traditions. When your old you doesn't work for you anymore, it's like during COVID, a lot of people have been rebranding themselves. And that's fun because who do you want to be?
Yep, exactly. And are we allowed to talk about your Instagram? And TikTok, I mean.
TikTok, yes.
TikTok. Yeah, I'm not on them, so I'm not that good yet.
Okay. So
but you're very good on TikTok.
I don't do Instagram very much.
Right.
But I do have TikTok. I've just started. And that's been an interesting process as well. So having fun with the filters and, the whole learning process has been, yes, it's a huge time suck. It can be, but just using it for good. So one of my themes is I like to catch people doing right. That's what my hashtag is, catching people doing right. And I think sometimes we focus on what people are doing wrong, but I love it when I see someone do something really nice or kind and just recognizing that and talking about it because it makes everyone feel good. And I don't know, I think it helps everybody want to be a better person, not just at holiday time,
Absolutely.
But to step up. Yeah. And of course, there's a little bit of food on there as well.
And people can follow you at Christine Noble on TikTok. Is it under the Feel Good?
A Better Life is Super Simple.
Okay. Follow you under and your bliss.
My bliss, yes. It's a bliss. A Better Life is Super Simple. Yes. Yeah. And I'm still on Facebook. Maybe someday I'll get to the rest of them, but that's it for me. So
Nice. Very nice. Let's see, where are we at with time? Because last time I had Christine. So we have Christine on our as our producer tonight. And she is, every time I have her as a producer, I don't think I ever get the timing right. And she's our boss at the network. So I always know she makes me nervous because I never get my timing right, but that's okay. I never tell her when I do. So tonight I'm gonna keep an eye and make sure I get my timing right. And I also want to share that we have at the Inspired Choices Network, remind people that you can give the app as a gift for free and tell people about it. You can download the gift for yourself because there's a lot of great information there. And you can rewatch for Christine Noble, her podcast and her show. You're able to watch it on demand, which is always great. And I just like to remind people of that because it is free and it is a lot of information you can download. And you can follow Christine Noble on TikTok at bliss. And I will get on it. Christine is giving me messages. Our Christine McIver is giving me messages because I am not on TikTok. Remember, I do math.
I can help you with that, Kathy. I'll set you up.
Okay. I know. I'm like, I'm not quite there. I love technology. I love technology. I kind of forget about TikTok and all that. The kids have started sending me stuff on Instagram. So I'm starting to get that straight. And don't tell Christine, but I haven't quite got my account right yet. But I'm working on it. I'm working on it. But what else would you like to share, Christine, about either the Feel Good Institute or any parts of information or knowledge that you want to share before we have a couple minutes left that we can share with
This is
people?
just something really small. And I know people talk a lot about deep breathing, but you can do it anywhere. You can do it when you're talking to someone. And so if you just, again, practice makes progress. But if you feel like you're getting a bit stressed, whether you're in a lineup at a store to buy something or the grocery store or at a family gathering, or just when you just have so much to do, if you breathe in, now I breathe into the count of 4, just hold just slightly and breathe out to 6 or 8. Don't work. The numbers aren't as important. It's exhaling more than you inhale. And even if you do it right now, you'll feel your shoulders going down. So breathing in, 2, 3, 4, hold, out, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And just doing 5 of those deep calming breaths and drink water. Water can also really break there's a big correlation between being dehydrated and being stressed. And make sure you're drinking enough water over the holiday season and do some deep breathing if you need to. And then just, if any of the tips that we've shared, just to keep life really simple, the simplest, easiest choice. What's bothering me? What's wrong? This. Well, what's the solution? Find the solution and work in that solution. I know it sounds easy because we're talking about years and years and like maybe even generations of traditions. But if they're not working for you, it's okay. And and don't judge yourself as you set the boundaries that others aren't being vocal to judge you. So deep breathing. It sets into place the autonomic nervous system. So we're stressed, we're in the fight, flight, or freeze mode. And when we're really relaxed and calm and breathing deep, we're at rest and our mind believes that there's no danger. So there's no danger.
Those are awesome tricks and tips. Thank you very much. And thank you so much for coming on the show, Christine. You know how much I enjoy spending time with you, whether it's here or in person and live. I'll take whatever I can get whenever I can get it. And I'm excited that I was able to share you with all our listeners. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Financially Speaking Radio Show. Kathy Cook Noble will return next Monday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 3 p.m. Central, 2 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have the best week of your life by making the choices that bring you all that you desire.